Justice. It's a huge word, right? At the very heart of any society. But what does it actually mean in a country as vast and complex as India? Well, today we're going to dive deep into that promise of justice, one that's woven into the very fabric of the nation.
So let me ask you, when you hear the word justice, what's the first image that pops into your head? For most of us, it's probably courtrooms, maybe judges, gavels, that kind of thing. It's the classic picture we all know. But is that really the whole story?
I mean, what if justice is also about getting a fair wage for an honest day's work? Or making sure that everyone, and I mean everyone, has the same shot at life no matter where they come from? What about our right to live on a healthy planet? You see, the idea is so much bigger than just what happens inside a courtroom.
The philosopher John Rawls put it perfectly. He said, justice isn't just a nice to have, it's the first virtue. It's the foundation. If that foundation cracks, the whole structure of society gets shaky. So, to really get a handle on this, we need to understand that justice isn't just one single thing. It's more like a spectrum with a whole bunch of different flavors and dimensions. And this is a really neat way to break it down. You've got justice for people, which is stuff like fair trials. Then there's justice for society, which is where you find things like economic justice, that question of fair pay we just talked about. And then there's this third super important level, justice for the planet. Each one is a crucial piece of this giant puzzle.
Let's just compare two of these to see how they're different. Procedural justice is all about the how. Are the rules of the game fair for everybody involved? But distributive justice is about the what. Is the final score, the way resources are shared, actually fair? It's a big deal because you can have perfectly fair rules that still lead to a totally unfair outcome. You need both.
Now, this isn't just some abstract theory from a textbook. In India, all these complex ideas are literally baked into the nation's most important document, the Constitution. It's the ultimate blueprint for fairness. And it all starts with the absolute bedrock, Article 14. This simple yet revolutionary idea that every single person is equal in the eyes of the law. No exceptions. Now, in a society that has historically been defined by hierarchy, this was a truly radical promise. Building right on top of that, you have Article 15, which goes even further. It says the state can't discriminate against anyone based on their religion, race, caste, sex, or where they were born. It's a direct challenge to centuries of prejudice. Then we get to Article 21, which is a massive pillar of procedural justice. It guarantees our right to life and liberty. And what's amazing is how this article has grown over the years. Courts have interpreted it to include things like the right to a clean environment and even the right to privacy. And finally, linking right back to that idea of economic justice, Article 39 tells the state to work towards a system where wealth isn't just piling up in the hands of a few people. So the big takeaway here is that this whole multifaceted promise of justice is written right into the nation's DNA. But, are these just words on a page? Not at all. Let's take a look at how these incredible constitutional principles have actually been put into action, turning these abstract ideas into real, tangible changes in people's lives. Just look at this number for a second. 415 million. That is a staggering figure. That's the number of people in India who were lifted out of poverty between 2005 and 2021. And we're not just talking about income. This means better health, better education, better lives. This is what happens when the principles of economic and social justice are put into action. Beyond the economics, though, justice can do something even more profound. It can shape our very sense of who we are. Which leads to a really interesting question. Can an act of justice literally create a legally recognized identity? And the answer is a resounding yes. In 2014, in a landmark case, the Supreme Court did something historic. It officially recognized transgender people as a third gender. It affirmed that every single fundamental right in the Constitution belongs to them too. This was so much more than a legal ruling. It was a powerful act of social justice that gave dignity and recognition to an entire community. So how did these amazing cases even happen? Well, a huge part of the answer is something called a public interest litigation, or a PIL. It's this incredibly powerful tool, pretty unique to India, that allows any citizen to bring a case to court on behalf of people who are marginalized or can't speak for themselves. It literally gives a voice to the voiceless. So we've seen some incredible achievements, for sure. But, and this is a big but,
The journey towards full justice for everyone is far from over. It's really crucial that we're honest about the massive challenges that still stand in the way. I want you to let this number sink in. Over 47 million. That's how many cases were pending in Indian courts as of 2023. It's an almost unimaginable backlog, and it means that for millions of people, that old saying is brutally true. Justice delayed is justice denied. And these delays are just one part of the problem. The path to justice can be blocked by so many other things. The incredibly high cost of a legal battle, the fact that so many people don't even know free legal aid is an option, deep-rooted corruption, and, of course, the social inequalities that are still so persistent. But there is a path forward. Experts have laid out some really clear, actionable ideas. To tackle those delays, things like setting up more fast-track courts. To improve access, a huge push for public awareness about legal aid. And to ensure accountability, major reforms for the police. The solutions are there. The real challenge is making them happen. So we end right back where we started. Justice in India is this profound, powerful promise. We've seen the undeniable progress, but we've also seen the massive hurdles that remain. And that leaves us with the ultimate question to think about. In a nation of over 1 billion people, how is that promise being kept? And what will it take to make sure it reaches every single one of them?